So yeah, then I thought I'd just help you with some admin, and then it kind of went from there, didn't it? And then.
But after that, I think, what do you think has been some of the biggest challenges? Is it more about sort of getting people to do what we do, trying to get customers through the door to get work? We've certainly had those challenges and ups and downs.
I think it
obviously,
really,
COVID being one of them.
Yeah, that aside, that is just totally, that was a different world for everybody. For us, we did have a really good year because everyone was at home and looking
they were
at
getting
the outside,
refunds on their holidays and decided to spend it on their house.
money elsewhere. So in that respect, but when it started, we got back into normal, if that's such a word you're allowed to call it. But once that happened, that had an adverse effect on us, didn't it? And we recoiled into ourselves. We had a site supervisor, an admin team, but we kind of had to draw it all back in because it was a real roller coaster, wasn't it, of work.
Well, I remember saying at the time that we were so busy in COVID. I always thought, I said to you, that there will be a point where this falls off a cliff, where there'll be this sudden bit of uncertainty. Though all those people that wanted to spend money on their houses did.
Yeah.
And then everyone was allowed to suddenly go on holiday again in 2021.
And we did literally fall off the edge of that cliff. I remember. I remember
there was times where we was thinking, oh Christ, when's our next actual order coming from?
Yeah.
But it's weird to look at that now compared to, say, here we are, 2024, and as people might have seen, we've advertised recently trying to get extra people on board because we have changed our marketing strategy. We are doing new things, trying things out of our comfort zone, and actually, hopefully now seeming to reap the rewards, similar to the ones we had in 2018 when we got our first commercial contract in Northampton.
True, yeah.
On the council contract, which really then was a springboard for us, I believe.
It was, and again, I was a bit sceptical about that, wasn't I? Saying, oh, you sure about this? Oh, I don't know. And I was very much trying to be the voice of reason, and you were like, 100%, yes, we're doing it. We're going to make it work. And I'm saying, how? And you kept going, we'll make it work, we'll make it work. And I was like, well, how are you going to make it work, Barry? But you did.
Get the work in, deal with the chaos later.
That is very, very true. That's something that we have both very much learned.
But yeah, that was it. I don't know, at that point, I think we probably had 7 or 8 working teams, most of them across the Northamptonshire contract.
There's probably a few more than that with the commercial projects, the domestic work as well. So true. Yeah, we were very busy. At that time, we had our own daughter working with us. She was helping us with admin.
My dad.
Your dad worked with us as a site supervisor.
And he was, 76 or something?
Bless him. Bless him.
No, we're not just to know, though. We weren't like slave drivers making, like giving, he was getting paid. He wanted to stick with us.
Yeah. And we had my sister-in-law working with us doing administration as well. So over the years, we really have kept it in the family.
Yeah, we've tried to.
Yeah, absolutely. And more recently, we've had our son diving into our TikToks with home fix t-shirts on, just for the fun of it. So.
Yeah, I think we tried him once after school as a bit of homework to try doing some of the customer guarantees. How long did that last?
About 5 minutes. Got a bit
before we got the ump with it.
He's due to do his work experience in May, and I said, "You're going to come and work in home fix?" He said, "Absolutely not." Oh, okay, thanks.
He actually said to me in the car the other day, what are you actually going to do with home fix in like 10 years' time? Because obviously we've been speaking, he hears us speaking about it all the time, doesn't he? And I was like, well, are you sure this isn't something that I can give to you? And I don't think I'd finish the word you before he went, no way, absolutely no chance. I think he thinks the thought of actually working for us, probably because he does come to our office after school, doesn't he? Does his homework, has his own desk in there.
And because we both live and work together,
you'll see us argue about it.
Live and breathe it, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's at home as much as we try hard not to. And I think that's been one of our biggest challenges, is trying to get that work-life balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a real thing, and it is really hard, especially when you work together and you want to do well at what you do. So
I think someone actually said to us at one of our academies recently, where he said it didn't believe that was it Paul doesn't believe there is such thing as a work-life balance. You're either fully in on this or fully in on that. And what is the thing of a work-life balance? What does it actually mean to you? Because for everyone else, it's going to be different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, for us, you like to think that you're Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But that's absolutely impossible running your own business. Yeah. And every other business owner you speak to just says there's no way this is a 9 to 5 job.
No, it's
and people never really see the challenges or the hours that actually as a business owner you put in, which is a phenomenal amount.
Yeah,
especially when it's still emails late at night. And that's the problem is, I suppose, with modern technologies, because everyone knows that if you send an email, someone's going to get that on their iPhone. So we'll get people maybe message us on a Friday night that actually probably do want to reply because they're not prepared to wait till Monday. Back in the old days, you shut your phones off at 5 p.m. on a Friday.
Yeah.
You dealt with stuff on the Monday.
I find myself messaging people now saying, I'm not expecting a response at the moment, but purely because I've got time to ask a question. The people out there will know who I'm talking about in particular. But, you know, if I want to book something in and it's maybe something for my personal self, then I might message them and then think, I'm not being fair on them because I'm messing you out of hours. But it's the way life is now, isn't it? You can
well, actually,
people all the time.
You said that is with WhatsApp groups. We do it ourselves with our subcontractors or our scaffolders, and suddenly you have a question pop into your head, and there you are on 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Well, that's sad. It shows I don't go out.
Yeah.
Messaging your scaffolder about work on Monday.
Well, I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and wrote a note and emailed myself actually, and decided to email myself then in case I forgot, because I felt I can't email someone at 3 a.m. with a question.
It looked like you really have no life.
Yeah, you have really, really no life.
So that work-life balance then is more like work here, actual bit of life down there, and sometimes it comes round.
But we do try and keep it real. We both know that life is far too short, so we do like to work hard but play hard as well, don't we?
No, yeah, I think in any walk of life, you've got to try and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think as you get older as well, as you know, I'm 50 next year, so you kind of look at things and go, right, what am I doing next year for my 50th and things like that. But
celebrating by the sounds of it.
Absolutely, you need to celebrate it, but why?
How many trips have you already booked, Barry?
No, we'll come back to that. You know, none of them with you.
Yeah, thanks. So this is how it works. We just don't do anything together.
So that's where maybe we've got the work-life balance a little bit offset. Maybe we need to do more together, because that never happens either, does it? Of course it doesn't.
I'm not moaning, honest.
Yeah, cool.
How was your trip to Spain?
When did I go to Spain?
You just come
I got back yesterday, yeah. So, that was good fun.
I held the fort and the team were great and they helped me through it. So, yeah.
But that's teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Apparently so. I'm clearly still in a nightmare. No, I'm joking. I'm only joking.
What are we talking about next then?
Good question. So the other things, what else have we been through in the last 10 years? I'm trying to rack my brain.
Well, you're always going to get, as we've gone through the years, we've had some, customers are the lifeblood of what we do, but sometimes there have been some challenges where, do you remember that we had a phone call from a neighbour, but he actually knew me from like when we were kids and just asked if we could help out because he'd been absolutely ripped off by some people that had knocked on his door to what he thought was change his guttering. But whilst they were knocking at the door, he had his wife, sort of, who was bedbound in the back of the house, to distract him, and they came through the back door and actually robbed him.
Yeah, I remember feeling quite emotional about that bit of the story.
It was awful. But the work they actually did, and he didn't realise he'd been robbed until later, because the poor old boy just shut the front door and let them crack on, paid them cash. And every time it rained, the water was coming into his house, and we were asked to help out. And I just remember thinking, that is a horror story. And you do, unfortunately, over the years, we've had quite a few, and it has happened quite a lot with what I'd call vulnerable people on their own, people that are older, maybe don't fully understand what they're doing, feel intimidated, so they end up, they're paying these people.
The other day, bless her, who rang me saying, I've got the work booked in with you, and she'd got herself a little bit confused, hadn't she? And she'd gotten herself in a bit of a muddle and thought she was talking to us, but she was talking to somebody else.
But she was texting, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was in tears on the phone to me, saying, he's now making me do it because he's already bought the materials and he can do it tomorrow. And in all honesty, this is where we pride ourselves. We don't do pushy sales. We'd booked the customer in, but we can't fit her in until next month, the end of next month. So in some respects, it's, I just said, I just don't want her to be taken advantage of. And at the end of the day, go with him, but just make sure that it's.
I do think that's actually good advice that we can give to our customers, that in any trade that you're involved in, if someone is available, and this is talking from experience as well, that if someone's available the next day, sometimes there's a reason why, because people with good reputations, people that work hard, do good work, tend to be someone you have to wait for. Absolutely. But then there is a clutch of customers who will think, oh, brilliant, someone can do it tomorrow, and they don't. You know, it's probably only having industry knowledge that you realise someone shouldn't really be available that quick.
Whenever I ring a customer, you know, it'd be the very odd occasion I'll say, oh, we could actually probably start it next week. And that, in even saying it, it's always like, oh, wow, this is not normally the case.
Yeah, but those are anomalies, aren't they?
Yeah,
That's
so
rarities when...
But for people to, you know, we've had people in the past where the customer has booked you in for an appointment, you've turned up to the appointment and someone's physically doing the work because we're so busy.
I remember, that was in Buckingham. Yeah, the guy's ladder was up on the side of the house, and I actually, obviously, we know a lot of the other fascia fitters in the industry. Yeah. And I knew him, and I looked up at him and I was like, all right, Tony. Yeah. So I was like, do a knock on the customer's door and saying you've got an appointment with me to price the work that this guy's actually up there doing.
Absolutely, that was crazy. I remember that. But, you know, it is what it is, and people do what they need to do.
But I think competition's healthy as well. You want actually to have competition out there in a way, because it's